One small diner in the Rockies, one storm that changed everything. A single dad veteran shelters 15 Hells Angels in a snowstorm, and the next day, 102 bikes line up at his door. The storm hit fast, like a wall of white swallowing the mountains whole. In the heart of the Rockies, where jagged peaks cut into the sky and the roads curved like winding ribbons of ice, one small diner sat stubbornly against the cold. Its neon sign buzzed dimly, flickering in the blizzard as if it too was fighting to survive. Inside, the smell of coffee and frying bacon wrapped around the room like a blanket. At the counter stood Jack Turner, a single father and war veteran who ran the place on grit, caffeine, and the kind of hope only a man raising a daughter alone could carry. Jack had seen storms before, both on the battlefield and in life, but this one was different. The radio warned of whiteouts, cars sliding off roads, and temperatures dropping fast. Most folks had cleared out early, but Jack stayed open. He always did. Somebody might need a hot meal, he told his daughter, Emily, as he pulled her favorite blanket tighter around her shoulders in the corner booth. She was 10 years old, with her mother's smile and her father's stubbornness, and though she complained about living above a diner in the middle of nowhere, she secretly loved it. It was home. Then the rumble came, not thunder engines. Deep, growling, powerful engines. Jack looked out through the snow-blurred window and blinked. Out of the white haze rolled 15 motorcycles, their headlights cutting through the storm like fireflies in a blizzard. The Hells Angels. Every small town had stories about them, tough men, lawless men, the kind of people you didn't cross. And now, 15 of them were pulling into his parking lot. When the door swung open, the cold and snow blew in first, then the bikers. They were giants wrapped in leather, tattoos inked across knuckles and necks, faces weathered from the road. The leader, a broad-shouldered man with a gray beard and eyes like steel, stepped forward. "Storm's shutting us down," he said. "Roads are closed. We need somewhere to wait it out." Jack's hand instinctively brushed against the old scar on his arm, a memory from Afghanistan. He glanced at Emily, who was staring wide-eyed at the strangers. He knew he was outnumbered 15-1. He could close the door, he could say number, but deep inside, the soldier in him, the father in him, knew the truth. Sometimes people needed shelter, no matter who they were. "Come in," Jack said finally, "but you follow my rules, respect my place, and no one scares my daughter." There was silence for a beat, then the gray-bearded leader gave a nod. "Fair enough." The hours that followed were tense at first. The Angels crowded into the booths, leather jackets dripping with melted snow. Their laughter was rough, their voices carried, and their presence filled the small diner with an energy Jack wasn't sure he wanted. But something shifted when Emily, curious and braver than she knew, carried over a plate of pancakes to the youngest-looking biker. He blinked, then smiled sheepishly, thanking her with a voice softer than expected. Soon the others were ordering, and Jack was behind the grill, spatula in hand, cooking like his life depended on it. As the snow piled higher outside, the walls between strangers began to melt. Jack heard their stories, men who had lost jobs, lost families, men who found brotherhood on the open road because the world had shut them out. One had served in Vietnam, and when he learned Jack was a veteran too, they shared a look that said more than words ever could. By midnight, the diner felt less like a shelter and more like a haven. Emily even fell asleep against the leather jacket of one biker, who kept perfectly still so she wouldn't wake. The storm broke by morning. When Jack stepped outside, the world was buried in white. The bikers thanked him, one by one, their leader pausing at the door. "You didn't have to take us in," he said. "Most people wouldn't have." Jack just shrugged. "Most people haven't been where I've been. Everyone deserves a warm meal when the world turns cold." They roared off, their engines fading into the mountains. Jack thought that was the end of it. But the next morning, just as the sun cut across the snow, he heard it again in a low rumble of engines. Not 15 this time, 100, maybe more. The road outside his diner filled with motorcycles, row after row, chrome shining like a river of steel. 102 bikes, lining up in formation. The Hells Angels had returned. Jack's heart pounded as the leader stepped forward again, Emily now clutching his hand at the window. "We don't forget kindness," The man said, "You opened your door to us when no one else would. From now on, your diner's protected. Nobody touches this place. You need something, you call us." Jack's throat tightened, words stuck behind a lifetime of pride. He just nodded, his hand resting on Emily's shoulder. For a man who had lost so much of his wife, his brothers in arms, his PC at this moment was something he hadn't felt in years. He wasn't alone. From then on, the diner became more than just a stop in the Rockies. It became a story. Truckers, bikers, travelers, they all heard about the little place where a single dad veteran opened his doors in a storm, and where the Hells Angels answered with loyalty. Emily grew up in that diner, learning what her father always believed, that kindness, offered in the hardest moments, could ripple out in ways you could never imagine. Because sometimes, it only takes one storm, one choice, and one act of courage to change everything.